This is how you can get your makeup from looking like this to this with just some simple steps and tricks in my makeup routine. Starting like this is so crazy. I have no makeup on and it's very triggering. But yo everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be filming a pretty asked content, which is to know my everyday makeup routine. I asked on my Instagram stories to see what kind of videos they wanted to see. There was options of doing a how to succeed in college, how did I change my look. The most popular one that was voted on was my everyday makeup routine, and I will be showing you guys what I do, some tips and tricks on how to get the makeup that I usually do. I've been actually wanting to film this video for quite some time, but I just didn't really think that I had my makeup routine down. But now I feel like I do. So my first step, and the most important step to me, is moisturizing. So the one that we're going to be using is the Estee Lauder Revitalizing Supreme Plus Youth Power Soft Cream. I thought it said soil. Target is your T-zone areas, or areas that you feel like are very, very dry. So those areas for me are going to be this area, the creases on my nose, and also around my lips. I don't know why, guys. I feel like I've been such a dry person. Jump scare. So before I do my makeup, there's one step that I always do, which is contacts. I feel like, personally, I feel like if I don't wear contacts, my makeup look doesn't want to eat. It doesn't look the way that I want it to look, so I will always wear contacts with every makeup look that I do. First one on. I'm crying. No, I'm not. After you wipe all your contact lens tears off, you're gonna start off with your base. So everything that I need is in this. I have a daily compartment where I just have all my makeup that I use every day. And so we're gonna start with color correcting, since I'm a man. So I have to color correct very quickly. The color corrector that I use is the LA Colors Cover Up Stick in the shade Orange, Pure Orange. And where I color correct is under here. And when I do feel a little manly, I color correct here. But today I won't be color correcting there. The reason why you color correct under your eyes is because there is purple undertones. If you feel like you have different undertones, you can check a different color corrector to combat those colors. And then for concealer, I just use any type of concealer, but I have to use it in a shade lighter, maybe 2 tones lighter than me. And so this is the concealer that I use. And we're just gonna blend that out. So the next step is very, very important to me, and it might be a little bit controversial, but I bake. And the reason why I bake my makeup, basically baking is putting powder over your cream products. And the only cream product that I really use is color corrector and concealer. I bake with baby powder. So usually where I bake is where I applied cream products, and that's under my eyes, right over here. And usually, even if you don't apply cream products on certain areas, you still want to powder that up because your natural oils are going to be trying to seep through, because we're living in an island where it's hot. Or I'm living in an island where it's hot. But if you're watching this and it's cold where you live, I envy you so much. Baking just kind of sets everything, and it keeps your face in an even tone. And it allows for powdered products to apply better, because if you put cream and powder together, you're gonna start seeing splotches. And you don't want to see that, because you're gonna look like you have racetrack marks on your face. The next step that I do is contouring, and I use the Profusion's Glitter and Glam Highlight and Contour Palette. Ding! You guys know that TikToker? We're gonna go in with a very blunt type of brush. This is the type of brush that I use for my nose contour. Some people might use this type of brush, but I don't. The way that I contour my nose, and I know this doesn't really appeal to a lot of people, but my nose type is a little bit more, it's fat. So my nose type is a little bit more larger. So what I do is I draw like a C shape right over here, C shape, and then I do my nose contour right over here for a button nose, and I'll show you guys how that looks like. So down the nose really quickly. And it's okay if it looks a little bit dark because we're gonna powder over it anyways. You're probably gonna powder your face with my makeup routine maybe 3 times throughout the whole process. And so yeah, down the nose bridge. And then what I do is I connect it to my eyebrow, so it looks a little more natural. And I also use a small mirror to see any type of details that I need. So I have a main mirror in front of me, and then I have my detail mirror. So this is how it's looking like so far. Again, just a C shape going into the eyebrow, and then you would have to contour down here on the tip of the nose, and then also a line on top of the nose as well. And then after that, I will be taking a smaller brush, a more detailed brush, something like this, to start doing the highlights of my nose. And I will be going in for a goldy champagne color to start building in those dimensions. And so I would put it on the tip of my nose right over here. And actually that's the only place I put highlight on. I don't like putting highlight here because it kind of just looks like a glitter line, and I don't like that. And then next, what we're gonna do is called Aegyo. Aegyo is basically fat under the eyes. So yeah, we're gonna do that. There's 2 types of brushes that I use for my Aegyo. This is one of the brushes that I use, a very detailed small line brush, and then another brush that I use is almost similar but a little bit more thicker. It is like that. What I do in terms of Aegyo is I just take whatever shade I'm going to use, usually a deep brown, and then I squint my eyes like this. And then when you squint your eyes, you can see a little bit of a line right over there. That's the line that you want to follow. Powdering is going to happen, so everything's going to look airbrushed after. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get another blunt brush. This is the brush that we're going to be using to start using the same highlighter that we use on the nose to put it on the white parts of the eyes. So right over here and right over here. Be generous with it. And then right over here. Moving on, we're going to start doing a little bit of a line on top of that highlight that I did using this brush, the blunt brush that I showed you, to start creating more of a line on top of it, right over here. And then you would connect it to your inner corners, right over here. The reason you do this, or the reason I do this, you don't have to do it, is because it opens up my eyes a little bit more, and it also gives more of a dolly effect that I absolutely love in my makeup. See? And it kind of just cleans it up and makes your eyes look more defined compared to this one, where it looks kind of like, we don't know what's happening there. And now it's my favorite part of my makeup. I feel like you guys can tell, but it's gonna be blush. I'm gonna be using this She Cosmetics Super Shock Blush in the shade No Shade. This is No Shade. And it's kind of like a magenta color, but you always want to apply it with a light hand. My blush placement really depends on what type of look I'm going for, but for my everyday makeup look, I always do it under my eye right over here. So right over here. You're going to start putting your blush in that placement, and then you start feathering it out this way. The reason why you do that is so that it can shorten your length of the face. I love this blush. I actually just got this blush recently, but it's such a good shade. And then you want the focus of your blush to be on this area, right over here. So I would always apply blush on my nose area. So what I would do is I get a more smaller focus brush, tap off the excess, and then I would put it on this area of my nose. It's time to bake again, so get your sponge and then start baking in these areas. You want to do it on the sides of the nose, just so that it can sharpen but also help not dull it down, but to make it more natural. And then you would do it in this area as well. And then also in the forehead. Oh my gosh, I never noticed how bright it was. Next up, what we're gonna be doing is my lashes. There's two types of lash curlers that I do use, but for my everyday look, I'm gonna be using this one. The standard, you know, the classic. And I would just normally curl my lashes the way that I do. So now I'm gonna be applying mascara. This is the My Lash Thin Mascara. And I would only apply it to the tips of my lashes. The reason why I don't apply it to the bases is because it kind of weighs it down. So I always just apply it to the tips of my lashes. And then with the tip of the mascara, I would push them around just so that they can connect to each other, to give it more of a manga lash feel. Okay, I zoomed you guys a bit closer because we're going to be starting the eyeliner portion. I'm actually going to move you guys on the other side. Give me a sec. Okay, so this is what I do in terms of eyeliner. It's a little bit hard to explain, but basically eyeliner, you just want to take out the wing to however length you want to do. So I'm going to do it like this. My light just turned off. Like that. That's how I do my winged liner. Okay, so now we finished up the literal hardest part of my makeup, and now I will be doing my favorite part of my makeup. And I think I've talked about this in my previous video where I reacted to photos of me throughout 2024, but it's mole placements, and I've started mole placements ever since I remember doing makeup. And so my usual mole placements happen in places that I already do have moles and just some additives. So I have a mole right over here. I have a mole right over here. Here. I don't have a mole here, but I put it here. Put one here. And then I have another mole right over here. So yeah. And then basically one more mole area that I put is right under my eye, because it gives it more of like a cat eye effect. So after that, I don't do any eyeshadow. I don't do any type of crazy graphic liner things because it's an everyday makeup. But what I do to make sure that I don't have any oils even on my eyes is I pick my eyes. Like right over here. So any places that I feel like would have a lot of oil throughout the day, that's where I start brushing on some baby powder to bake it. If I do wear eyeshadow, it's like a brown or like a red pinkish. And then usually after that, I just kind of like revitalize all of my makeup. So like the Aegyo style, I start fixing up the highlights. I start fixing up my blush that I've lost throughout the years. And then one of my favorite parts is inner corner highlighter. The inner corners of my eyes just gives it more of a pop. Lastly, what I do is I get a sponge and I start baking around my nose one more time. And so now we're gonna move on to lips. I have so many lip colors, but the ones that I'm gonna be using today is going to be from GRWM. GRWM is a really good brand in the shade number 12. It's like a nudish reddish with a little bit of a pink undertone. It's going to be on the center of my lips, right over here. And then you want to do the same thing on the top. Usually I take some of the color, put it on my cupid's bow, and then air it out like that. Next, I will just take a gloss. I will be using the Ink Glowy Mood Lip Tint. It's not really a gloss, but it has a glossy effect in the shade number 18 from Peri Para. Kind of just tones down the overall redness of the lip into a more doable shade. After all of the makeup, I do the LA Girl Pro Perfect Oil Control Multitasking Setting Spray Matte Finish. And I spray that all around my face. It's like a midnight rain. And this is how the final makeup look turned out. This is my everyday makeup look that I always do. And for me, it usually takes around 30 to 45 minutes, but I've mastered it in a way where I just do it in 20 minutes. If you ever plan to do this makeup look, I hope you feel the same way that I do. Makeup is very subjective. You don't have to follow it in a certain way. You don't have to follow every tips in the rule book. Our makeup is just about feeling good with who you are as a person and not covering the person that you are. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please continue to support me as I am coming out with more content. Dance videos are coming up, and also maybe a little collaboration in the future. So yeah, bye everybody!